Hi there. I'm up to number 6 in my David Hawkins series, and I hope you're all doing well. It's pouring rain out here near Seattle, and the roof is, I can hear the rain on the roof, and thank God I have a new roof. Anyway, welcome everybody. Okay, so the next part of this is chapter 9 in this particular book, The Wisdom of David Hawkins. And it is about the fundamentals of conscious spiritual growth. Okay. Most of the time, we have to admit that it isn't, we have a lot of unconscious things going on. We have a lot of things going on underneath the surface. But when we're wanting to be conscious of our growth and how we can facilitate that growth, it's nice to have something there that leads us along into getting where we want to be. So he says a massive joint agreement could have influence if it was collectively for the good. Remember, you have to have a certain number of people in order to tip a paradigm. When there's a paradigm shift, it's as though people come up to this really high level and then things go over the top. I've seen a dog trying to jump over a fence, and it was really, really tall, and the dog tried like 15 times and then finally whoosh, right over the fence. So that's paradigm shift. That was a paradigm shift for that dog. He was able to get over, even though he wasn't as tall as he should have been to get over that fence. Evolution is not a linear event. It isn't on a timeline continuum. It is something that can be changed. It is something that can be uplifted, upgraded, up-vibrated, all that. It is more of a fermentation process. If you've ever made beer or wine, you know that there has to come a time where all of the things come together to ferment. And so you have to put all the ingredients in, and then you have to wait until that ferment is ready in order to make it into the alcoholic beverage that you want. America only has 55% of people living under 200 calibration. That's still over half of the United States. And this was when he wrote this book. So that was probably at the beginning or the mid 2010, 0 to 10s. But it's no wonder we're divided. If we have 55% of people operating under 200, and we've got 45% of people operating over 200 and some on different levels, then you know that, yeah, we're bucking each other's heads. Before, we probably didn't have so many people that were in a higher vibration. I'm not suggesting that we're any better or any of that than anybody else on this planet. But there were many of us who came back who vibrated at a higher vibration. And it is our job as light workers to bring the light to people in order to lift the vibration. So this is all a process of evolution. So the people that are under 200 bring us sadistic, lascivious, dishonest people that live in anger, lying, malice, and deception. And we sure have had our share of that. We can see it. It happens a lot. Power also corrupts, makes it even worse than it would be normally. So how does one stay elevated? Because we do dip sometimes. We've talked about that. We do dip down because we're human. And so we have our days where things aren't as good as they should be, or we're not taking them as good as we should. We need to develop a sense of truth and integrity. We have to figure out what our truth is and then be able to walk that truth, be able to pull back when we go away and stray from that truth, and walk with integrity that we feel we have the ability to live a very authentic life. So it's very important. It's a consciousness that we need. And if that means we have to write it down on something every morning and see it on the mirror when we get up, be present, be authentic, be integral, and, keep the vibration going. Be sure to check decisions that you're obligated to think on or act in, that which is beyond a personal opinion. You're being gifted something here. You have to make a decision about it. Is it just going to benefit you? Is it going to benefit the collective? Is this going to make things better for you? Or is it just your personal opinion that maybe I should give to the Salvation Army because that's what I should do? So I'm going to bring this up. There's a lot of people who may not agree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But a few years ago, I found out the Santa at Salvation Army, who needs the money for sure, and he gets a portion of the money that's there. The Salvation Army will not help or acknowledge any LGBTQ people. It does not believe in homosexuality, so it will not help anybody in need that is a homosexual or that is of any of those transgendered or any of the other types. So I don't give to them anymore. And I've never told them why. I just say Merry Christmas and walk by. I just refuse to give to an organization that does not see all people as being equal and valuable in this society. So that's just my personal feeling. Respect the fact that people know more than you do and rely on that until you know yourself. Don't give over your everything. Don't give over everything. Don't say, well, I'm going to rely on other people to tell me what to do, or I'm going to rely on people to give me all the information I need. No, that's not what this is saying. It's saying rely on people to help you through until you know what to do. One needs to have the humility to realize opinions are subject to verification by truth, reality, and fact. Verification by truth, reality, and fact. Otherwise, it's just an opinion. Everybody's got one. Number 2, attain humility. Be humble. Spirituality is self-awareness and self-monitoring, but it's also discipline. It's a higher truth that you're looking for to attain and asking Spirit to help you realize. For you to see the truth and to reveal it to you. We can always be wrong. I will stand up in front of my students every single term. Some of them are 15 and 16 years old. And I say to them, I'm not a guru. I'm not the be-all, end-all. I may be wrong. But I can learn from you and you can learn from me, and let's learn together here today. And that's kind of how we do this on our on the YouTube channel as well. We learn from each other. We grow. And we don't have an opinion so set in stone that it cannot be considered. Let's put it that way. We could always be wrong and not have any stake in the outcome. Number 3, self-awareness and mastery is the next group of conscious spiritual growth tools. The key to spiritual truth is the core is self-awareness and mastery. Sorry. The key to that's it. Self-awareness and getting better. Looking and knowing what you're doing, being conscious in the present moment, and then moving on and bringing that to be more and more mastered as time goes on. The core of narcissism is pomposity, being a pompous idiot. I know everything. Oh, everybody else is just really stupid. And we know who says that all the time. And that's because he is not aware. He's not self-aware. He's not mastered any tools to be humble. Being right, the pomposity of being right and moral superiority are those things that those people feel and do and live by. We don't have to. Number 4, accountability. Ethical morality is a realization that you are answerable, accountable, and responsible for all things. So this is why we say, for entertainment purposes only, or I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice. I'm not a lawyer, I can't give you legal advice. I'm only a soul, a person, and I'm giving you what I believe that the answer is, but I may be wrong. Those who deny the truth of God are denied its benefits. It's not judgment. It is that the quality of the energy is such that you can't get calibrated high enough if you don't believe in something more than yourself or bigger than you. Spiritual progress is learned, and the negative stuff arises from our experiences and primitive interpretation of natural disasters. Fear and their interpretation, false evidence appearing real. And the minute we step into it, we have a really hard time moving from that. Number 5 is simplifying your life. The spiritual pathway is erratic. There's no straight line, and there are times of spiritual dryness. Oh boy, and we feel it. I get questions like that in the chat. Oh, nothing's happening. It's like nothing. I don't know what's wrong. I have no idea. Spiritual dryness. Completion is when everything is satisfied at the moment. There is no completion, in other words. It is moment to moment, every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade, etc. So to be satisfied in the moment, you're complete and whole in that moment and spiritually connected. But that doesn't mean you can't grow higher. You can't do better. You can't master more. Number 6 is a sense of purpose. And I think this is the big deal that we all felt and we all feel. What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Very difficult to ascertain, even though from the time we were children, we already knew what our purpose was because we responded to it with such joy. For me, being a little actress and singer, I'd stand on the stage and I'd perform in front of people, and it was joy. It was joy. It was completion for me, even as a youngster. And then being a teacher, sort of the classroom is stage. That doesn't mean that I want to be an actor or an actress, but I just want to be that which I am, which is a teacher, also a student. Very important. We contextualize our lives. We label and we give significance to lots and lots and lots of different things. And what makes meaning for us is important. It may not make meaning for someone else, but if it makes meaning for us, that's the significance and the labeling we give to it. However, labeling keeps us in a box. We don't want to label. We don't. We just don't. Stay with holy company. It gives you energy, backing, and the motivation to be who you are. It would be good to tell you at this point that, as you know, 192 is the what we come in here calibrated at. 1000 is God. Alcoholics Anonymous, he calibrated at 540. Well, that's pretty damn good. Why? You have the spiritual tools you need in order to achieve what it is that you're wanting to do, which is not to be an alcoholic anymore, or a narcotic, or a porn, or whatever it is that you're stuck in. Also, when we're in a cathedral, we experience a shift, and it is a holy place. I remember feeling that way many, many times. I'm not a very religious person, but when I've been in cathedrals, when I was in Santa Fe and went into there's a really cute church there. I think it's called the Grotto, and it has quite a story about the balcony. When I felt very, very much infused with spirituality, love, and connection. And also in Chameo, which is where a lot of people would go to get the dirt to heal themselves, or to leave they would leave things by the altars there. It is the interaction that you have with the place, such as the great pyramids or these great cathedrals, that really changes you. You value the energy field of peace, and you also are at one with it. At one-ment, atonement, at one-ment. So the other thing is you can feel drastically, have a very uncomfortable feeling too. I know my son went to one of the concentration camps, and very unsettling, very, very unsettling. All the suffering of the souls who had lived there before. So energy can be stuck in a place, but sacred energy is very uplifting, very much. You walk in and you're like lighter than you've ever been. And the vortexes in other parts of the country, including Sedona, can do the same thing. It's like they're a holy place, a very holy place. All right. The world you see does not exist. This is what Hawkins says. The world you see does not exist. The world you see is only a perception of the world. You and I and the next person and the animals and the trees and every other type of living entity on the planet have a perception of their surroundings or of the world that is unique to them. The colors may be brighter, colors may be different, experiences may be different. Just remember that your perception of the world is the world you see. So not everyone sees the world the way you do, in more ways than one. Plato's cave, the allegory of Plato's cave, very important allegory, because it really does talk about the idea that how perception in a darkened area can change once you've come out into the light. And remember, enlightenment is bringing light to something. Very important. Convert your life, he says, into a prayer. Be that which you talk and learn. And he says to read hymns, to read beautiful sacred text, and to uplift yourself in such a way. Become that which is. Become that. And this can transform the world. Because if everybody did it, the whole world would be very, very different. Or even if we had a tipping point where the paradigm shifted, we would walk into a different world. Number 7 is lovingness. In this, you see the intrinsic value of all that exists and the divinity also of everything. Even a stone is divine. I think that it's just beautiful. If you can see the divinity in everything, then you know that there are no accidents. There's only beauty, and you have gratitude for that. The inner source of existence is divinity itself. This divinity also includes you, yourself. You're part of the divinity. You are obligated to be all that you can be by perfecting yourself as much as possible, and be very thankful for the gifts and to pursue them and find a way to use them best for mankind, not just yourself. And that's what we do here. I believe we share our gifts so that we can help mankind and not just ourselves. You don't try to change people. You can't. You can't change. Hard enough to change yourself, and you've got a very good reason to do it, but you can't change anybody else, ever. You do realize that by being all you can be to the best of your capacity fulfills your obligation to the world. And what you leave is up to divinity. You can bring yourself up to this level and then allow. And that's what we can do, because we don't maybe have the money or the resources to go help somebody that's in need, but we might have the divinity to share with them. Number 8, overcoming the darkness. Hatred is a contagious thing. We need to work on shadow. We need to work on those parts of ourselves that we don't care for. Elan vital is one's life energy. Life flows as energy all the time, forever. Number 9 is to develop a sense of humor. Don't know what I'd do without it, actually. This is a more spiritually evolved vibration. I love it. Oh my God. Never fear. If you're having a good sense of humor and you're enjoying laughing, you're more spiritually involved than those that cannot see that. Humor recontextualizes everything. And we were talking about this the other day on a show that, you may be at a funeral and all of a sudden you remember a funny story about the person that passed, and it's just, you start laughing. And people around you think you're being disrespectful, but really what you're doing is you're raising your vibration back up again. And you're meeting that soul at that soul level. You got to know that they all have a great sense of humor. Comedians have lived longer than most others. George Burns lived to be 100 years old, and he was not taking care of himself. Conscious spiritual growth is the greatness of spirit and a knowing that even though you know you will be criticized, you still see the great benefit of living in that capacity. Life is lived as an ultimate act of loving kindness and living like a prayer. Spiritual growth needs not involve any sacrifice. Many people look forward to getting older, and that's okay, to spend time invested in their spiritual growth. Now there's enough time to spend to invest in the work when one's consciousness evolves and people treat you differently because you're older, or you may be more wise. And so the people are like, oh, okay, maybe I can listen to this person. I don't know. You serve others by who you have become in the world. And with that, I leave you for this one today. And I wish you a blessed day. Stay laughing, stay grateful, keep your vibration up, and love yourself because you are part of the divine. Bye-bye.